Malik, and most of you know me as an author. I've written over 40 books and I've published at least four, and I'm working on some of them. But what many of you may not know is that I am also a behavioral and communications refinement instructor or coach, and I am a French and English language instructor or coach. And I have at least 20 years experience of teaching both in and out of Pakistan. And mainly I have the experience of teaching languages, namely French and English. Because I am a native English speaker, so that was pretty obvious for me to go towards uh, working with people on learning English. But unlike the conventional ESL teachers, I decided to design my own course plan, which solely concentrated on, and still does, on actually speaking the language. When you work with students who are preparing for IELTS, for example, every other institute or teacher seems to work on their um, reading and writing and oral comprehension. But what they fail to work on is the actual conversation itself. How did I start? Well, basically, when I came back from the UK, um, a lot of people that I knew seemed to show a lot of interest in working with me on the fluency of their English. And someone quite close to me came up to me and asked if I could help them improve their conversation. And so that is how it all began. And it was then that I decided that it was um, quite important for people to know, to be able to communicate in English fluently. And that is when I designed my course plan. Now, you need to understand that this is not a conventional course. We're calling it a course just for the benefit of everyone. But the truth is, these are sessions, and this is why I've always advertised them as spoken English sessions. In spoken English sessions, what I work on is letting the student do all the talking. So it's not about me, it's about you. And because right from the very beginning, I have been working with business people, entrepreneurs, and professionals, um, I devised uh, and designed the program in such a way that it should be unique to each student. And because it is purely practical and it's a hands on course and it's unique to each individual, I further planned on making it convenient for the individual, because from the very beginning, the very first sessions that I did was exactly in the same way. I worked according to the schedule that suited the student, and so because she was a businesswoman, so I worked around her schedule. So she told me the timings and the days that suited her, and I made myself available on those days, at those particular timings. And the way she picked up on uh, improving her conversational skills was different as compared to how others do. And this is what helped me decide how to formulate an unconventional, customized, tailor made lesson plan. So the best part about this is there is no plan. The plan is you speak, I listen, and then I further the communication. And if you notice, if you have ever, those of you who have done IELTS, you will notice that this is particularly helpful for the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Because over there, this is exactly the kind of conversation you have. The supervisor there will ask you a question and make you talk about yourself, and then they will ask you a question furthering that communication. And all the while, you're the one who's expected to speak. That is exactly what we do here. How does it help for those who wish to further their studies or who are job seekers? Well, that is pretty simple. On your CV, you do mention that you know English and that you're very good at it and you're fluent at it, but let's face it, you may be extremely good at reading and writing and the oral comprehension aspect of the language, but you're not fluent. You can't speak. Now, the main reason for that, for the majority of our people, is lack of practice, lack of confidence. And due to lack of practice as well as lack of confidence, you end up having the lack of ability to think in English as you speak. Now we come to the question of accent. Um, I essentially work with a neutral accent because that is what any company uh, would want from its candidates and applicants. A de-accented English, a neutral accent, uh, is important. Dialects and accents can be hard to understand. So, for the purpose of universality, a neutral accent is always adopted. This is why we will work with that in mind. So, if you're an entrepreneur or a job seeker or an IELTS student who wishes to be able to get fluent in the actual speaking aspect of the language, or if you work in the media, or if you work in uh, if you're an employee in a certain sector or organization which demands fluency in communication, this is exactly what you want.